It's that time of the year again when I'm absolutely freezing my ass off. You did enjoy my summer vintage wardrobe video, so here comes the winter edition. Unlike my summer vintage clothes, my autumn and winter clothes have not been stolen thus far, which is fantastic. So it's a collection that probably goes back to 2016, 2017. That's when I sort of started buying more vintage and vintage inspired pieces. I think autumn especially is my favorite time of the year to dress up, because winter, when it's really cold, I just care about being warm. So I don't really have the opportunity to show off my personal style. But with autumn, with early winter, I genuinely love it because my staple pieces in my wardrobe are usually jackets, 1940s vintage jackets. I just love the structure, the cut, the way they fit me. I think they look so smart. They can actually keep me very warm if they're made of wool. So regarding being warm, as I'm from Poland, you know, our winters can be a little harsh. Maybe not in the past decade or so, but they used to be at least, so I'm trying to be prepared. When it comes to staying warm, I have like two main rules. First off, one of my top tips to wear vintage in winter is wool. Wool can isolate you from cold. Wool can get you really warm, especially if you layer it, which brings me to point number 2, layering. Sure, maybe a jacket and a coat is not enough, but when you wear an undershirt and then you wear a shirt on top and then you layer it with a vest and then you wear a jacket and then you wear a coat, you should be fine. I've tried it before and it usually works. So things like petticoats, things like tights, things like anything that is sort of like a base layer, and then trying to put in more and more layers. It also is handy when you're actually getting warm, because then you can get the jacket off, you can get the vest off, and you're still pretty comfortable. So enough of the yapping. Let's have a look at my wardrobe. I have actually made such a mess bringing all these pieces out, and I don't know how much time it's gonna get me to get them back into my wardrobe, but maybe it's good to have them out and just maybe consider how many clothes I have and that it's not necessary. So maybe I'll just give away some of them. But anyway, let's jump into it, guys. Let's try them on. Is this a try on? Ew. No. So first off, we have this wool jacket that I think is maybe 1980s or 1970s. I actually tailored the back seams a little bit more to get this like snatched waist effect. Then we have this 1940s jacket that fits so well, it's actually a problem. I mean, it's very stylish, but it sometimes feels a little restricting, and it's also not the warmest, but the silhouette and the details are to die for. This video is sponsored by Halara. If you wondered, okay, but what does she wear for activities where wearing vintage could be uncomfortable? The answer is Halara. All products will be listed in the description, and you get 20% off on full price items using the coupon code CarolinaZ. Recently, Halara introduced their new flex jeans, which are merging the denim style with comfort and softness. Flex jeans are, you guessed it, flexible and very soft, but they don't look like your typical at-home pants. They are also light and very breathable, and they don't suffocate your private parts unlike some pants. They are perfect for big movements, moments when you're maybe on the run somewhere, for travel, and they have pockets, and 4 of them at that. You get 9 colors and 3 lengths to choose from, and new fabrics are being released frequently. So don't forget to use the coupon code CarolinaZ for 20% off on full price items and enjoy your comfy stuff. Next up, we have this 1980s wool skirt. It's probably the thickest one I own, so it's my go-to for winter when I want to wear a skirt still. Then this jacket, again, it's not very warm, so I would say it's more for autumn, but I love the silhouette it gives. It's just so quintessentially 1940s. This skirt I think is 1970s, and it used to fit a little bit better, but I lost some weight, so now I think it would probably look better with maybe a sweater inside. This skirt is probably 1980s or 1990s, and I think it's a good compromise between warm and stylish, because I do think it's wool, but it's thin wool, so it doesn't feel too hot. I like styling it with this jacket because they have very similar tones of green, but this jacket actually comes with this skirt, which is great and it's very elegant, very 1940s, but it's a bit too narrow and I feel like the length is difficult to style when you have flat shoes. It just doesn't look good. Then this is my 1980s chameleon skirt because it has basically two buttons at the waist. The wider setting is for wearing thick sweaters inside and the narrower is just for a blouse or a turtleneck. Also, I have a couple of woolen vests that I like to use as a sort of additional layer. I have to admit, it's giving grandpa, but sometimes when it's really cold, that's the last thing I worry about. I just want this additional layer. This modern reproduction suit is a bit thinner, so it's definitely more for warm autumn days, but the color I think is just perfect. It could be tailored a bit more though, so maybe one day I will just do some alterations to it. This suit, on the other hand, it kind of looks a little too military. I think it could use some styling. For example, if I did orange accessories, maybe it would not look so much like a uniform. But at the same time, that feels very 1940s. This one is definitely too big for me. Well, at least the jacket, because the skirt, on the other hand, is almost too tight. So this is kind of a paradox to me. Okay. This skirt may not look like much, so let me explain. This is a wool blend long skirt that only looks good when you style it like 1930s. So with a shorter fitted jacket, it genuinely looks good. Without, it doesn't make sense. I stole this skirt from my sister years ago. It's H&M, but what I don't understand is how mismatched the patterns are, and most of all, I don't know where the front is, and I don't know where the zipper is supposed to go because the belt loops are also not centered in any way. And then this is a 1980s wool skirt that is very Christmassy to me, and it's again a little bit too narrow, but it looks good. For outerwear, I have this modern reproduction jacket I bought secondhand, and it's probably something I wear the most because it's just so simple. You put it on, you leave. It could be a little bit thicker though. This is a 1940s trench coat. I've wanted one for so long and now I wear it all the time in autumn, probably a little too much. It's such a good base for an autumn wardrobe, but the original ones are honestly very difficult to find. This one is probably my favorite 1940s coat. Again, its only drawback is that it's not thicker, but the fit is perfect and I wear it all the time. I also have this coat for when it's rainy, but what I struggle with is A, it's see-through, so you can see all the outfit. If the outfit is not great, you can see it. And also it's literal plastic, so it doesn't breathe. So usually when I wear it, I end up really sweaty, but somehow cold. I feel like it's only good for maybe 2 months in a year when it's rainy, but not cold. Then I have this, what I assume is faux fur, because it's just this hair woven into fabric and it's not that warm. This one is for early autumn, but I've also used it all year long. It's very thin, so it works best as a sort of top layer over a sweater. This is a handmade trench coat that I bought from a friend. I just love the way it fits, but I have to admit, with my 1940s black coat, this one doesn't get as much use. It doesn't leave my wardrobe very often. I got this one secondhand recently and I am not loving it. I thought it will be bigger and longer, and right now it kind of looks like I stole it from someone smaller than me. It does, however, look okay when I wear it with a belt. This is my holy grail. If you've watched this channel for a while, you will be familiar with this one. It's a 1940s coat that I got in 2019 and I have been wearing it ever since. I mean, the shoulders are spectacular. I made this coat a couple of years ago for a winter trip to Oslo, and it's probably the warmest coat I own. It's made of 2 layers of thick wool and yeah, it's pretty good. This is a 1950s skiing jacket that belongs to a set, and even though it's not very thick, I feel like it gives good insulation somehow. So these are the pants that go with the jacket. Usually when winter gets really bad, I need full coverage to even leave the house, and a set like these would be my go-to outfit. I also have these 1930s pants that are a part of a set, but the jacket is too small, and then these that also have a matching jacket that I didn't have on me when I was filming, and then I also made these pants for the Oslo trip, so I have a couple of really thick and warm pairs of pants. These are modern reproduction and they fit really well, but they're so itchy, it sometimes drives me insane. So I'm thinking of maybe copying them in some other fabric. These are a very similar model from the same shop, and these on the other hand may be too thin for winter, so you can never win. And then I have these modern reproduction jeans that can honestly go a long way in winter, but most of the time I just go for something softer instead. I got this 1950s sweater from a friend and I think the color is just so good. This one I bought years ago in Finland, even though the sweater itself I think is Norwegian. And again, it gives me this grandpa look, but it's also so warm. And then this one, I mean, I bought it years ago. It was super expensive. It's pure wool and the color looks good on me. That's all I gotta say. I'm not going to get rid of it because that would be a waste. But also, man, I wish she would just shut up. I got this 1980s pinafore dress years ago, and I think it doesn't fit me well anymore. Not to mention the front back thing is very confusing because there is a tag on the back, but then the pockets are in the back also, which is very weird. These are Sans de Fleur dresses that they gifted me a while back, and even though linen would not be my first choice for winter, the sheer amount of fabric is enough to keep me warm. I've been eyeing this dress on Etsy for literal years, and I finally bought it for my birthday last year, but the problem is, what do I wear it with? The dress kind of has 3 colors, but I don't really have sweaters or jackets in any of them, so if you have any tips, let me know. This modern reproduction dress is one of my latest buys because I thought it's just a perfect autumn color. And then I also got this 1940s dress recently, but A, way too short. I need to add some fabric at the bottom, and B, the fit around the waist is also a bit weird, so I'll be working on this one. I got this 1940s dress as a gift years ago, and this is an example of how I lengthened the skirt because I didn't like the previous length. So I actually broke the zipper on this 1940s dress as I was trying it on, so you can't really see what it looks like when it properly fits me. And this 1940s wool dress I again bought off of my friend. It's so useful to have friends that also wear vintage because you're both sort of built-in vintage shops to one another. I got this 1940s dress in maybe 2018. I have to admit I wore it all the time and then I completely forgot about it for some years. I don't know why, I don't know what happened. Sometimes something just ends up at the bottom shelf of your wardrobe and it takes time for you to notice it. This is my New Year's dress. It's 1970s or 1980s. This is quite a famous design, but I have to say it doesn't work as well as I thought it would for my proportions. I think the central gathering is too high for me, which makes the waist just not sit where it's supposed to sit. It doesn't look bad, but I think it could look better. I also have a bunch of hats. I would love to wear hats more. I think they look fantastic, but whenever I'm about to leave my house with a hat on, I always end up leaving it behind and maybe just going for a beret instead. So I'm showing these off in hopes that I will eventually get motivated to wear vintage hats more because, I mean, these are stunning. These are really good hats. So please hype me up. I think that's it. So basically this is my winter and autumn wardrobe. What I think I'm still missing is maybe more warmer dresses because the ones I have are mostly meant for like outings. I also need to make a petticoat, like an actual petticoat, because I have like a thin polyester slip that I sometimes use, but it's not perfect. I think I need something that's better in keeping me warm and I can wear it underneath my skirts. But I think that's about it. I don't know what to say. Let me know your tips for keeping warm in winter if you're wearing vintage style, especially the ears and the head because my ears are dying every time they're exposed to wind and cold. So any tips would be appreciated. Bye. Why did I do it like that?